I hope you guys are having a good Sunday. Mine is not bad at all. It's been good so far. Of course, I want to write something and come and throw my pen. I hope the weekend has been good. We're going to be talking about what you need to consider as you plan to buy your car, if you're going to especially be living more than 15 kilometers away from the central business district, because like it or not, we all have to go to the central business district once in a while as Ugandans. The central business district, that's around Kampala Road, post office, around post office Kampala Road, or you can count downtown Kampala, you know what I'm saying. So every now and then, as a Ugandan citizen, you will want to go to Kampala, the central business district, and if you're going to be going to the central business district at least once a year, you will definitely need to know how far do you live from the CBD. So if you're going to be living 15 kilometers away from Kampala, then there are things that you need to consider before you buy a car. And then tomaraga gula nadala omuntu abera, if you live in Bukoto, that's like around 4 to 5 kilometers from the central business district, you can buy any car. I have a friend of mine who lives in what's the place, Tula Road, and he built his house there. He has bought several of his neighbors, so he also has rentals there, and he lives there. So he lives about 3 kilometers from the central business district. Kati nebo avuga hari ya Kawundo temulia, because he doesn't feel the amount of fuel that he uses. But a person like me that lives 35 kilometers from the central business district, I definitely have to be very careful. I have to be very careful as when I'm buying a car, because you can't just go and buy a Harrier Kawundo this way, because at the current fuel rate, a person that drives a Harrier Kawundo will definitely be using about 50,000 to 60, more than 50 by that. He'll be using about 70,000 a day going to town and coming back. So that means that if you're going to be living about 35 kilometers away from town, you either drive a car like mine, or if you want to drive your Kawundo, then you shift your businesses to nearer to where you live. That means that if you're employed, okay, then it's better to buy a car like mine other than a Kawundo, however comfortable the Kawundo is, however much you can afford to buy a car. You know, buying a car is one of those easiest things to do, but maintaining a car, keeping it on the road, is a very hard thing. I'm sweaty because I'm from the gym. That's why this shirt looks the way it looks. Sagara mugamba ate atha lido bichi byolimu. Yeah. So this is my voucher. You remember I told you about my voucher? So I have to write how much I've spent at the gym and all that. Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about what you need to consider before you buy a car if you're going to be living 15 kilometers 15 kilometers and more. Now, for us to understand what 15 kilometers means, you see Kasangati town. For those that have been there, Kasangati town is 14 kilometers away from town. So if you're going to skip Kasangati, go to Gayaza. If you reach Gayaza, you've already started 16 kilometers. If you're going to be living Gayaza and beyond, Gayaza town, the roundabout, that's around 16 kilometers from Kampala Central Business District. So if you're going to be living Gayaza and beyond, okay, and Namugongo, you see Namugongo where the Catholic Church is, that's around 14. Now if you go to the Protestant Church, that's around 16 kilometers from the Central Business District. Now if you're going to be living there and beyond, now Seta is about 14 kilometers away from CBD, the Central Business District of Kampala. So if you're going to be living Seta and beyond, so you still have to be careful which kind of car you buy. Let me see, Bombo Road. Now Bombo Road, if you're going to be living Kawanda, let me see. Yeah, if you're going to be living Kawanda and beyond, you still have to be careful which kind of car you buy. Tomaraga Gurante, I take Kuruge and Sanyusa. There are people that normally send me text messages and they tell me I want to buy a Kuruga because it looks nice. People like us that live far away from town, we don't buy cars because they look good for us. I don't know if that makes sense. We don't buy cars because they look good for us. We buy cars because they will perform, they serve fuel, they are very easy to maintain. On Mitiana Road, if you live, no, we have Busega, Bulenga, Buloba. If you live Buloba and beyond on Mitiana Road, then you have to be careful which kind of car you drive. Okay? Thank you very much, King Fahad Isaac, King Fahad Islamic Primary School. Where is your school? Is it in Bulenga? Yeah. So if you are on Masaka Road, I think now you have to think about Nabingo and beyond. So if you live beyond, I think Nabingo. If you live Nabingo and beyond, then you have to be very careful about which car you drive. Hoima Road. Now Hoima Road, we have Nansana, we have Naruvule. Now you're going to be living Naruvule and beyond. Hoima Road, Togura Moroka because it's kusanyusa, Togura Moroka because it looks nice, Togura Moroka because it's comfortable, Togura Moroka because Togura. At that moment, you have skipped the level of saying, I'm going to buy this car because it's nsanyusa. Kati I'll go to some level yafe egamba, I'm going to buy this car because, well, it serves fuel. I'm also in Matuga Chigogwa, but my primo is yes, October. Chigogwa. Obera Chigogwa. Is it Chigogwa? Chigogwa. So October nze nchamira we Chigogwa nenyingire yo munda. So I live a little far away from there. Sisiri town. Yeah, but Primo is a very reliable car, by the way. Primo nuji old model, new model. But that also depends on, you make sure that you buy a car, a Primo that has a very good engine. Hi Bashil. So if you're going to be living 15 kilometers and beyond from Kampala, because I want us to understand to demo level, you have to be very humble. Yesterday, the meeting I was in, afterwards I had a chat with the lady that I know. She's my age, and she has been heartbroken so many times, and for her, because she has been heartbroken so many times, she's just going to make money, be rich, adopt children. So I asked her, what if you don't get rich? What will happen? You get. I was trying to make her understand that sometimes you'll get a partner, not because you're the best lover or because they are the best lover, but you'll get from Chigogwa. Oh, nice to meet you, Abdu. So sometimes you get a partner, you marry because you'll need companionship. At one time, you don't want to be alone in their house. But also, you need someone that can listen to you. This relates, by the way. If you're going to be, you have to get a partner. People that is a person that understands you, a person that will listen to you, a person that you will listen to, a person you will discuss with when you have tough days. So I was chatting with her. She has lost faith in love and all that. And you know, the thing, it so happens that it's the same thing happens here. If you're going to be buying a car, if you buy poorly, if you live 35 kilometers from town, because like this October, who lives in Chigogwa, lives about 20 something kilometers from Kampala town. He lives around 20, because from Chigogwa I drive around 7 kilometers to get to my place. So Chitege is October, you live about 26 to 27 kilometers from the business district. So bomuntu abere wala from Kampala Central Business District, bwe pika no gula kawundo ogenda tuka kawundo ekuleme nga ne sente zikuweddeko nga n'akamoroka akatono nga athakaina na koto kya akasobola ne moroka zikutame okitegeera bwe weewanika. So if you're going to be living 15 kilometers away from town, botuke Namugongo, no itaku Protestant church. If you're going to be living beyond more than that, at every night Namugongo, I was in Namugongo last time. I think I was heading when I was going to MC. banange jamwe Namugongo atama, I think Namugongo, and then Ginger Road around Seta Mokono. How do you people live there babera you banange jamu uli munji nali nkaba jamu Bombo Road, but Bombo Road jam is okay. If you go to Seta, go to Namugongo, my God, you can sit in a jam for 30 minutes in the Moroka Tezitambula, and you don't have an alternative route. For us Bombo Road, we have so many routes, eh? And if you're going to be living in a place that is like Namugongo, like Mukono, where the jam is despicable, you're going to face a lot of troubles because Moroka Jakusikako Mujamo Menuni means yes. Ate Mujamo when Namugonga, I found a guy in Kaunde Musiseko. You don't want to go through that. Kati, we're going to be talking, of course, about the cars that you should be buying if you're living 15 kilometers and beyond. Also, there are things that I've been telling you guys. There are things I've been telling you which are very important. Chibachirunji to be jukide. For example, from the beginning I was telling you guys, one of the criteria I look at before I buy a car is that I make sure that should it come to a time when I need to replace the car I have, it should be quite easy for me to replace. So sometimes you find someone nagula emoroka million yana ninga ka account inako million 5 za sigazako. If that kaundo gets a problem, you just imagine how much is it to replace the kaundo engine, how much is it to buy a tire for kaundo engine tires, eh? Jakwesanga empira joka omalira mu million 2. Ezo million 2 zesonyiwe. Ojagenda okwesanga buying an engine for the kaundo will cost you about 7 million. Chukojiguze niye ku account yosigazako million 5. Normally I've been telling you guys, it doesn't have to be practical. It like the broadcast we had, last broadcast, there is no standard in these things. But I'm one person that doesn't like to I'm that one person atadda kubigere nakigana ekyo. That's why I drive a car that I can afford. It's a very important thing that if you buy a car that in case you have a problem, it will not take you a very long time for you to replace it. Nga emoroka webe nakutwalira banga dene to replace it ngogenda kumara omwaka munamba ngozeyo ku tax ozeyo mbigere. Don't buy it. So someone has said, I drive a Subaru Impreza. I read a bit of it. I drive a Subaru Impreza. Atavu ojideriti inze chali wange. He says he drives a Subaru Impreza and he lives in Mbarwa of Namugongo. I read it, my brother. This is a comment here. So how does the Subaru take you? Yeah, I read that message. Then I saw first Chigogwa. Kati wa first Chigogwa yariwa Abdu. Me I know only one Chigogwa, that place where there is like a petrol station akata tegere keka. Where ye Chigogwa ikagwe manyi. Yeah, so I normally tell you guys, don't buy a car that will give you a hard time to replace in case you get trouble. You get financial troubles, probably the car gets an accident and it's you cannot repair it. Sometimes it might not be you can give someone your car no mwazika na atomere moroka na akorachi na ajimalawo kati bwabaji mazeewo, can you replace it in like 3 months ekinene nnyo? Because if you can't, emoroka eba ya pay for your class. Okitegere eba ya pay for your class. That's one thing we need to understand. Ekyo bwe tukivaako, you're going to be living 15 kilometers away from town. Autugambye Namugongo oyise ku shrine ya Protestants, tugambye Mitiana Road oyise Buloba, Hoima Road oyise Naluvule, Bombo Road oyise Kawanda, Gayaza Road oyise Gayaza Mtawuni, Masaka Road oyise Nabingo. And we have said that all those roads were Sukaunga. That's where you're going to build your house. Because majority of the time, if you're going to be living there, you should not be renting. There is no reason why you're renting Kawanda. There is no reason why you should be renting in Kawanda. If you're going to be renting, rent near town or rent near Amex petrol station. Huh. Hey, I remember Amex. That's where I normally put pressure in my tires. Wali omuzeeyi apikamu omukka. Waliwo omuzeeyi awo bali abazeeyi babiri abatera okuyomberawo pump to put pressure in the tires. Yeah. Gwe oli kumpimpi kilomita nga 25. Fenna tuli wala baba. But anyway, ebiseera ebisinga what I normally realize that if you work in Kampala Central Business District, it's easier for you to rent nearer town. The math, it has been done by so many people. I think almost all of us know the math now. And the math is simple. That the nearer you live to town, the better. It's better to not spend on transport and spend on rent, because if you don't spend on transport and you just walk to work, you'll be saving. You save yourself the trouble of probably accidents. You save yourself the trouble of falling into robbers. You save yourself okugwambabi, direct translation. You save yourself so many troubles. So if you rent, there is no reason why you go rent in Kawanda. There is no reason why you go rent in Buroba. There is no reason why you go okujakonga you work from that area. Nga Buroba mukola mwe muri business yo, it's where your workplace is. But if you work in Kampala Central Business District, you should rent in Kampala Central Business District. But if you work in Ntinda, it's highly recommended that you actually rent in Ntinda. The only reason you should be working in Ntinda and living somewhere else, probably you work in Ntinda and live in Namugongo, should be that you are Zimbayo. That's how you save money. I've seen so many young people that decide in njagala kupangisa naria no matter what. No sanga omuvubuka nga akolera busega nga abeera naria. All for what? Kuba opangisa. Lwaki tofuna ennyumba eri okumpi ne wookolera? And you save that money, you save yourself the trouble of traveling every day. No musanga nga aliko piki emujja busega agenda Ntinda kukola. That's a lot of trouble. The only reason then you should be living in Busega is if your home is in Busega. I don't know if that makes sense, but for me I find that analogy makes sense, that people that rent should rent nearer home. You should be renting nearer home because nearer work. For example, if I were to rent, I would be renting. I mean, if I could afford, if that's, of course, you should also consider that your job can actually give you that money. But you should also make sure that you don't do a job that doesn't give you enough money. I find that, for example, abana banabasika chapat. Now we're talking about the small business. Abana banabasika chapat a lot of money. I think the only trouble with that kind of money is that zijamul swala. So baziliama ngokusinga omuntu womusala. That's why you find that people that get salary most of the times achieve more than people that get daily income. The daily income is easier to spend than a salary, and then those people that have salary can get salary loan, something that these chapati guys cannot get, but those guys make money. So for me, working at a job that doesn't give me enough money to even pay my rent or buy my food or even cover my transport, I'd rather employ myself. And probably that's one of the reasons why I refuse to go and work for anyone, because I find that I employ myself and I employ other people and I pay them better than anyone would have paid me. So that's my analogy. So Tudamuchino, if you work at a job where by the middle of the month your money is over, and your money is not over because your money is not over because probably you've got problems like sickness, even in normal days you're just paying rent, you're just paying for transport, buying food, you have to borrow. That should not be counted as a job. Because at least to government the job doesn't make you rich, but at least it should cover your expenses, all your expenses, and then you save like a 5%. But if your job doesn't, then my brother, you need to get another job. That's a reality. Because we have been raised in a culture that says be humble. But you need to understand that if your job is not paying you enough to cover your expenses, you're just wasting time. You'd rather go and employ yourself or boy check a sorry. Hi, mini Pajero Jive Komani. Barak, leave Pajero Mini, leave it. You will suffer. Mini Pajero is like Pajero IO. I don't know if you're talking about the same, but Mini Pajero is smaller than Pajero IO. How many of them do you see on the road? That should give you an answer. If you ever consider buying a car I'm sure one of the reasons why you want to buy the mini Pajero is because it's 900cc. So you're assuming that it doesn't consume fuel, right? It's also an SUV. So you're assuming that it doesn't consume fuel, but it will give you the prestige of driving an SUV. Leave it alone. The money you save in the fuel, you will use that and even top up like 150% to repair it, and still it will refuse a minimum garage. Pajero mini mujeso on you guys. Leave Pajero IO alone, because yes, there are people that have had a good experience with them, but also you need to understand that someone that drives cars, I think I'm one of those honest people that have told you, majority of the people don't tell you the problems they face with their cars. Why? But let's face it, all cars have things that we need to work on. Now, the people that I help to buy cars, when you buy a car, I will tell you you're going to work on this and this and this and this and this. But you'll work on this at this time, work on this at this time, work on this and this time. Don't work on this because the mechanic could be them. But there are cars that have more problems than others. Pajero mini, even if you got it yourself from the bone, you'll get problems with it. There are problems, you know. Pajero cars are like some women. Abakazi abamu ne bw'omukolera ebirungi ebyenkanachi, you take her out, you take her to cafe javas, you buy her a car, you build her a house, you give her money every day, you buy her jewelry, you do abewa beno bazimbira nyumba, they will still cheat. Okitegera? Cheating is maybe tougher, they will be ungrateful. Kati ye Pajero Mini, ye Pajero IO, ye Daihatsu Terios, ye Toyota Duet, ye Kayongeza. Yeah? The Golf. I wanted to tell you guys this story. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday when I was going to town. The only Golf that was remaining was Kucharo. Wabade Volkswagen ziri biri. Emu ya neighbor wange ye chatambula. Ndita jivuga buli lunaku, yajivuga ku weekend yazitegeera. But there is this guy that was driving a Golf. You know that Golf that looks like Ipsam. Ifanana Ipsam. Simanye yo Golf ubajita. But that Golf, he was driving it every day. And I can tell you, it was yesterday, as I was driving to town, nasanze lole ejisika erefunga ejisika nga makanika ali mu kimotoka kye kya Audi ajigoberera. Guys, avoid Volkswagen if you're going to be living 15 kilometers or more out of town. Avoid Volkswagen, avoid any kind of Volkswagen if you're going to be living 15 kilometers or more out from the central business district. Emmoroka ejja kubonyabonya weekyawe olowooze n'okulowooza nti bakuloga. There are cars that will make you think your neighbors hate the fact that you have a car. There are cars that will make you think a family member doesn't wish you well. Your family members don't have a problem with you. It's the car you bought. Avoid Volkswagens, guys, if you're going to be living 15 kilometers or more out of town. I'm not saying that they are bad cars, but in our Ugandan environment, those cars have made people suffer. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. People have suffered with Volkswagens more than they have suffered with any other car. Because Volkswagens look nice, they are comfortable. My friend washes his VW every weekend, but he never drives it. You people read the comments that come here. My neighbor doesn't drive, he drives it on mostly Sunday when they are going to church, and the church is near. There is no sound. That's impossible. I think you're muted. The other guys can hear me. Can you all guys hear me? It's only Gloria that is saying there is no sound. I tell Gloria, don't call me bro. It's bad when a girl calls you bro. It's bad. It's bad. When a girl bro-zones you, it's really bad. It's bad when a girl bro-zones you. You guys, I'm driving a manual. It can't show. This is the gear lever. I drive a manual car. So Gloria, everyone is hearing. Probably you should increase your volume. There is sound. So you guys, I was telling you, you should avoid buying Volkswagens. Actually, instead of buying a Volkswagen, you should actually buy a Mercedes-Benz. It's much more reliable than a Volkswagen. I've got a Mercedes-Benz because Mercedes. Probably people are scared of Mercedes-Benz. I would rather drive a Mercedes-Benz than a Volkswagen. Guys, yeah, for sure. Chris Da Vinci, what are you talking about? So mbadde mbagamba Volkswagen eri nasanze RF egisika. The lorry was pulling it from, and then the mechanic of the Golf was following it with his Audi. And I will tell you one thing, Volkswagen mechanics are the most dishonest mechanics ever. Like ever. Bamakanika Golf. Bayaye nga bwokiwulira. So if you're going to be living 15 kilometers or more from the central business district, you have to be careful. It's nice, it's a UBK, even if you could afford it. The neighbor of yours is here. It's a fact. I think Moroka nunji, but he had a bad experience. Sigaya, but that's what happens. So if you're going to be living out of 15 kilometers or more from town, from central business district Kampala, first of all, avoid Volkswagens. Zebagambi najisanze bajisikanga RF ejisika sina breakdown. Kitegeza we are feeling and breakdown okujja emitwala na. RF yabaddewo, I think RF ya one of our neighbors has an elf kucharo. Yandetiranga ko musenyu. Yabadde asika Golf. I almost stopped to ask them what's wrong, but I thought the owner would take offense because I don't really know the owner up close. So najisanze bajisika, and I remembered what I've been telling you. So if you're going to be living 15 kilometers away from town, avoid Volkswagens. Avoid German cars. Benz yiyo mujirengera. Benz yiyo UAH naye good olubege. Avoid German cars basically. Just avoid German cars. You can buy Japanese cars. But even with Japanese cars, you should stick to Toyota. But even with Toyota, okay? Even with Toyota, Toyota, okay? Someone was asking me about the RVR. The last time I drove a manual car, I knocked a BMW X5. Oh. Nembalekera kachikumi. Not duka. What duka? Hey, ngawalaba man. Ngawalaba. I think they sold the chikumi and repaired. You'll find that the mechanic of the X6 just bought the chikumi. Told the owner of the X6, let me work on your car. Ngawalaba. But me, I want my wife to learn manual. That's how you know that you really know how to drive cars. Katinze. I can actually overtake a Subaru. Anyway, so you guys, we have said avoid German cars if you're going to be living 15 kilometers or more out of town. Okay? You can drive a Subaru, but as you age, you know, as you age, your income reduces. That's how it happens. Okujako, when you have invested a lot, and that's not so many people that have invested a lot. Subaru you can buy Nissan, but even the Nissans, find Nissans that are mostly on the road. But I normally tell you guys, if you're going to be buying Nissan or Mitsubishi, it's okay. It's better for you to stick to pickups and those SUVs. Those cars are much more reliable with SUVs and but Nissan with SUVs nedda. I think the only Nissan that I've seen that has been quite reliable on the road has been the Nissan Hardbody. These other Nissans, Terrano, Simanya, there is those Nissans that all the Nissan SUVs are not so good. So you should try and avoid it. The X-Trail, man. The X-Trail is okay, but I've seen a mechanic drive someone's X-Trail. Ungaiya mutama. Mechanic anajisigaza na mgambo jirojivuga wifu na ajigula. And you know when you give your mechanic to sell a car, to sell your car, they never sell it because they be enjoying. When you come no mugabe moroka ngato najitunda, he will be telling you. Anti banajikula ne ate inokusigarangi etambula abantu bayinagisanganga tujivuga. He will drive your car for years. Actually the mechanic is still driving the X-Trail. So the Nissan X-Trail still, actually the friend of mine that drives the Nissan X-Trail lives in Boyogerere. He doesn't live far from town. Katechobera na chochi manyu. So Nissan, stick to pickups probably. Even Mitsubishi, stick to pickups. Then Subaru, you can drive your Subaru. Just make sure you maintain it properly, because even the Subaru mechanics that are out of Kampala don't know how to fix the Subaru. So I love Fan Cargo. Can you talk about it? Fan Cargo is a very good car. I think Fan Cargo is a 1.4 or 1.3 cc car. Although it's a little weak, I had a friend that had it. She was a lady, and I need to buy vegetables. Kakati mwe bagayi ebintu ebituleeta mu kyalo bibi ab'ekigogwa muliwa kati wano siri kigogwa, but abantu ababeera mu byalo, abantu abatuguza greens batugoba bugobi. Greens is easy, no. Greens is easy, no. Kati I'm going to buy. Yeah? Experience the village. Experience. Njagala ebyo ebya radio babe bayita batya? Ebbuga lye erya radio.
Wanje tufadde ku TikTok.
Nakati munayinza tebamuntuma bantuma bino bye bizaamu omusaayi.
Ate leero bisanze birungi nnyo.
Kale neyanziza. Yeah, so you see, feno mukyalo ebintu bigula biri fresh. By the time it gets to Nakasero market, where are you people of where you get it, where are you people of Ntinda buy them? Biba tebikyali fresh. These guys get it from the garden. Yeah, so you can drive a Subaru. The Subaru is actually not a bad car. But with Subarus, I would only recommend that you drive a Subaru if it's new. I don't recommend that you buy an old Subaru. Still, all those cars that are not Toyota, if you're ever going to buy a car that is old, you should stick to Toyota. ISIS, it's not so many people that are driving. It's a good car, but it's not popular. The only trouble you'll have with ISIS is the resale value. You have sold it cheaply. So the ISIS is the Wish. The ISIS and Wish are the same car. It's just that the ISIS is just not popular. So that's all you have to know. But the ISIS is a good car. If you resell value togenda bifa kotolinga Arthur, just buy and drive. But even Arthur, sometimes he doesn't care about the resale value because he's driving a manual car, and manual cars, the resale value is not that good. But also you need to know that the manual car that Arthur is driving, that he doesn't intend to sell it anytime. He's just going to buy cars and pile. I'm going to be a collector. I almost have a spare for everything. I have a spare clutch. I think I have 2 spare clutches. If my clutch gets done, I take up you get. So, but if you're going to be living like Nancy Jembele no Muchalo, you have not seen my road. This is one of the roads I take, and I'm still driving. But I'm still driving. So, if you're going to be living 15 kilometers or more out of town, you need to be careful about the cars you buy. While you hurry a kaundo bidi, and ate hurry a kaundo ezebidi, baka jakucharo, I'm not like a prophet of doom or anything, but I'm just saying that those big cars, if you're going to be living anywhere, if you can afford a Harrier Kauno, you can definitely afford to buy land in Chira, which is about 14 kilometers from town. So instead of buying land more than 15 kilometers from town, buy land in Chira first, Kauno Jitunde, or Guretake Chira, build a house in Chira, and then go back to your Kauno. It doesn't make sense for you to be driving fuel, and because if you're driving 70,000 a day, that would mean you're driving 1.4 every 10 days, and that means you drive around 2.1 in terms of fuel every month. Which that means you'll be driving around 22 million every year. Doesn't make sense. So anyone that can afford to buy an expensive car of about 50 million, 60 million should be able to afford to buy land in Namugongo, because you can get a plot in let's say in what's that place, Magere, Bobby Wine's area, at around 40 to 50 million. So why buy a car of 60 million? We are hustlers. From the ground up, we can afford to buy affordable land. I will not say cheap, because there is no cheap land, otherwise everyone will be owning a plot. It's people that are still hustling, that can only afford to buy affordable land. That build 35 kilometers away from town. But if you're going to be affording also quarter million in some ogende ogule Moroka, you should first of all think, don't go and live for more than 14 kilometers away from town. Get that 70 million, go buy 50 by 100 in Chira, go buy 50 by 100 in Seta, go buy 50 by 100 in Mulenga, go buy 50 by 100 in Chanja. But Arthur, I think the major reason why some cars fail on market is because of the spare availability and mechanics. Exactly. And the case of mechanics is basically from the training that makes them. No, it so happens that majority of our mechanics are trained by Toyota mechanics, because it's mainly Toyota garages that exist. And because they are trained to fix Toyota majorly, they will also be fixing only Toyotas. Zemanyi you need to understand that Toyota, I'll give you an example. I drove a Golf, and friend that the cousin is my friend and he's a Benz mechanic, because you find that most mechanics in our local garages just learn to do from someone. Yeah, they did apprenticeship. It's called apprenticeship. Until you come to Earth and you want to learn how to fix cars, and it teaches you Wokola. But you also realize there are majority Toyota cars, which take it. So, but they're also different. Mercedes-Benz, for example, if you talk about spanner size, Mercedes-Benz has a spanner size 13. Toyota has 14. Which take Mercedes-Benz over Volkswagen has a majority of its bolts locked using Allen keys. Now at Toyota we use spanners majorly. Spanners. So you realize that there are so many different things that happen. So what about the Volkswagen garages are Volkswagen garages. Toyota garages fix almost everything. So you need to understand that before you buy a car, genda jiretene waffe wala mukyalo. Gule Moroka nga ne makanika wo mukyalo senge kuchankala nako asobola okumanya ekyokukola. That's one thing you need to know. Gule Moroka nga if something breaks down as you drive, you don't need to first of all take a border to Kampala to go get it. Gule Moroka nga if it breaks down, you don't have to call a mechanic from Buziga to come and fix it. You don't have to call a mechanic from Spear Motors to come and fix it. That's if you live a big distance from Kampala Central Business District. So that's what it's important. I don't want us to ever ignore the fact that anybody that can afford an expensive car. I find that if, for example, I could afford to buy a car at 60 million, there is no way in hell I was building my house this way. I'm telling you. There is no way I would buy my house, I would build the house where I am. I would definitely get like 50 million, buy land in Chira, buy a big plot of land in Kasangati, 50 by 100, because 50 by 100 was also different. Over around the guys are there, find an estate, because at 50 million you can find land in estates. In let's say Nansana, you can find land in okay, Chira now will be deeper, because the 50 by 100 in Chira is about 80 million now. But if you got 50 million, I can tell you that you can also get land in around Chira and Mugongo. You will get them. Forget about the land that has brokers, because brokers buy that land at 50 and sell at 80 or 90. So anybody that can afford the cars that we are not talking about, that is not a hustler, should first of all buy land. Drive. So anybody that can afford an expensive car, like if you can afford to buy an electric car, fully electric car, you should not be living in Batuka. You should not even be living on Bombo Road. Bombo Road, you live there around where you saying factory. It's still not favorable. Anybody that can afford a car that is more than 10 million, ainakubanga alimukulia swagger in town. If you can actually buy an apartment, national housing apartment in Nadia, and live there. Now I'm giving you some of the things I would do if I could actually afford to buy a very expensive car. I don't want us to think that I'm just discouraging you from buying the cars you want. I'm just being a little realistic for you to know that the fact that you're going to be living more than 15 kilometers away from town, or you know kumanye nakuyo. I've told you that I'm ndimukusondera kumoroka million ensambu nga njiguze mu Toyota Uganda na Kaveera nganze njitandise wano kujivuga kubala. Because I don't see a reason why I have 70 million and I go to the bond. Sinna kiraba. Otegeera atogule moroka je ngenda okutandikira mu kanika, because all bond cars abantu oluzigula batandikira mu kanika okulwa kutereza bintu. But if I get 70 million and I went to Toyota Uganda and I'm buying a moroka ya Kaveera, sinna chengenda kanika amvuga chipya ngabo kula TV ya box. So you need to understand kati some of the cars, especially bobanga oli muvubuka nganze, like you've built your house and you don't have a lot of money, some of the cars I would recommend that you buy, you can buy a Toyota Alex that is around 15 to 16 million. You can buy a Vitz, but I've always told you if you're going to buy a Toyota Vitz, buy one that is 1.3cc. Tokula Toyota Vitz ya cc 10 na dala ngogera bere eno ngewaffe. Okay, now if you're going to be living far away from town and you want to drive any car, don't drive a car that is 1.0cc. Ijja kuswaza. Ojja kulowooza nti ogenda kunywa amafuta naye kayingi ne kajja kukuba mangu. So you should be buying a car that is 1.3cc and above. So Toyota Vitz, you can buy 1.3cc or 1.5. You can buy a Toyota Alex. Okay, you can buy the Corolla like mine. You can buy the Corolla Fielder, because even the Fielder is a Corolla. Even the Spacio is a Corolla. You can buy a Spacio. But don't buy a car if you have some car money. Don't buy a car that is not VVTI. Hey, let me show you the village people. Wow, but I come from meeting your Eros. I told Mara Vika chairman, vice over defense. So you can buy a Spacio, you can buy a Fielder, you can buy Alex, you can buy the ISIS, someone has talked about it, you can buy a Wish, but if you're buying a Wish, I'm imagining you're not going to be lifting stuff. You buy a 1.8cc Wish. Normally, don't go beyond 1.8cc. 1.8cc should be the maximum engine size you buy. Because if you go 2000cc and above, you're going to go on your mafuta. Then, just go to the body. I can tell you that I bought my car 5.5 and I've driven it all this time. Ne engine jengamba okukyusa njikyusa kuba njagala, sijikyusa kubanga inache yankoze. I just want to put a new engine, that's all. Era no bwe najijjamu ngenda gitereka ewaka ebeereyo. Okitegeera. So you need to understand that it's not a car that you buy at 20 million that will make life easier for you. Okitegeera. Normally I tell people that it's better you make your house first comfortable. Okitegeera, you make your house comfortable. Olyokotandika okulowooza okugula emmotoka ezo ez'ebbeeyi. Nti if you're comfortable at home, you go to your bedroom and actually think properly. Okitegeera, emmotoka togenda gibeera. You're going to be sleeping in your house. You're going to come to your house at let's say 10 p.m. Be there up to 5 a.m. On Sunday or Saturday, there are chances that you're going to be home. If you don't, for example, go to the bars like me, Senior Mwenge. Okitegeera. But you'll find that you have to play with your kids in the house. You need to make sure that your house is comfortable first. Because abantu ogenda zanya nabo mu Morocco, ogenda zanya nabo mu nyumba mu compound. So we need to understand that. So you buy a car, comfortable, buy a car that is comfortable, that will not break down. If you're going to be living like the distance I live, Ipsam Jiveko, Nadia Jiveko, Noah Jiveko, okay? Alpha the Jason Yue. Okuja Congo inamwe talking aliwera because the people have money. I'm not discouraging you from buying those cars, but you just have to make sure that you have a lot of money. If you don't have a lot of money, imoroka zengi kugamba kandi ziveko ngambi Nadia Jiveko, Ipsam Jiveko, okuja Congo zigenda kukolera yo sente. Okitegeera. Hi Patrick. Okitegeera. bweba tegenda kukolera sente giveeko Nadia giveeko, leave the Ipsam alone, leave the Toyota Noah alone, leave the Alphard alone, leave the Kruger alone, leave Nissan X-Trail alone, leave the Subarus, any Subaru that is about 1.5cc, leave it alone. Any car, even if it's a Primo or a Chibina that is 2000cc, leave it alone. Don't buy a car that is beyond 1.8cc if you should. But just to make it clear, if you should buy a car that is 1.8cc, let it be a 7-seater. Like a Wish, like an ISIS. Don't buy a car that is 1.8cc because if I had a Wish, I know I'd be taking like 4 of my neighbors. That's 20k that they're contributing on my fuel. And then I come back with them, they give me another 5k. That's another 20k. That's 40k. If I had a Wish this way, I'll not be buying fuel at all. I don't know if I make sense. So tubali tukambye Noah, Ipsam, Nadia, Kruger, X-Trail, any Subaru that is above 1.5cc, avoid the German cars is vehicle. Izo zote ziliko specifics. Any German car, if you live 15 kilometers away from town, leave it. Okuja Kongo jiguze mo bondi. If you buy it from the bond, you're the first driver on Kampala roads, buy it. But still, don't drive it for a long time. Because all the people that I know that have managed to drive German cars, they don't overdrive them. Because those German cars, when they start getting old, you'll get tired of it. Because so you sell it, go back to the bond and buy another one. But you can drive the German cars. I personally love the Mercedes Benz. But even when I'm collecting money, I'm not saying that I'm going to collect money to buy an ML. I'm collecting money to go to Toyota Uganda and buy a brand new car. And trust me, by the time I buy a brand new car, my place has become so comfortable. By the time I collect that money to buy a brand new car, I shall have afforded to probably buy land in a nearer place. And I build another house there. But I've bought a car straight from Toyota. I'm not going to go and buy a Land Cruiser. I'm going to buy a car that is 1.5cc and below. Because that makes sense. So if you're going to be living 15 kilometers or more out from the central business district, don't buy a car that is beyond 1.8cc. The people that drive Ipsams in these areas where I live, they park them. They only drive them when they have nothing to do but to drive. For example, they are going to a bar, but most of them, they leave them at home. They leave them at home, in your taxi, in your border. Because a Morocco ya 2.0cc, so that's God, you need to understand that it's but also if you're going to be living like if you're going to be living 15 kilometers or more from town, pictures or muziraba. Pictures. I have to conclude the thing from here because I have something to. So pictures or muziraba, they are very good. Motorcycles, by the way. We have been having an argument with my wife, Seth. We have been having an argument with my wife. I love motorcycles. I didn't really get a physical accident because I was sharp. On that day. I was riding in Zambia. Yeah, I was riding in Zambia behind an army truck. And I was coming very fast because they were also very fast. And nature indicator. You know, accidents are very funny. At that time, the brakes don't work. I first put gear number 1 for that car to slow, for that motorcycle to slow down. That sport bike that I featured in on the channel. So from that day, I personally realized that okay, motorcycles are not safe. Now I can imagine someone that drives a motorcycle every day from where I live to town. The amount of danger you're putting yourself in every day is not worth it. I don't know if that makes sense. You're putting yourself in a lot. You're putting yourself in a lot of danger by driving a motorcycle every day. So if you can, please, bobo beda wala from town. People that you see, they used to tell us that Indians babala nyo bwera abayindi tebavuga motoka bavuga pichi ne basavinga. I'll tell you, I've seen Indians. See, Patrick, I'll tell you about Indians. Indians that ride motorcycles live in town. You'll find that an Indian that rides a motorcycle never rides it even more than 5 kilometers a day. Bavugira wa if he rides it from factory where, because they own a lot of factories, from the factory to his home, which is 2 kilometers away. It's rare to find an Indian riding a motorcycle on a highway like Bombo Road. It's not that they are stupid. They are not stupid. They are very calculative. So if you're going to be living more than 15, actually, I think if you can avoid a motorcycle any day, guys, avoid it. You know why? Motorcycles are the most unsafe form of transport in Kampala. Very unsafe. So if you can afford to buy a motorcycle, a brand new motorcycle, TVS, I think it's 5.8 now, you can definitely buy Ipsam. Actually, bobo inechikamo echigula a pichi, because I've told you don't buy Ipsam, buy Ipsam at least. Ofafagane na amafuta. Otwaleko kuba neighbor ose bakuweya amafuta. Oronda abantu kukubongo ogena, because there are always people that are going in your direction on the road. Because one of the ways I was able to survive, I was at campus and I was driving my Chivina. And one of the ways I survived driving Chivina is that after classes, I would go to the Northern Bypass. It was still fresh. So I would drive to the Northern Bypass, and what I did, because our Northern Bypass didn't have a lot of taxis when I was that's around between 2010 and 2011. They didn't have a lot of taxis. So those times even personal cars like mine would actually take passengers. So I'll drive from Makerere, go down to Kalerwe, get passengers, take them to Busega, and then in Busega, get passengers, drive them to Naria or Weyogerere, then get passengers, and I'll do like 5 rounds. And after doing those rounds, I would go home. That's how I was able to afford fuel for all the time that I was at campus. Because at campus, I didn't really have a job. Yes, I used to go abroad and perform and come back, but that money can take you for so far, because it's the same money I used to pay for my tuition. So you need to understand that instead of riding a motorcycle every day for 15 kilometers and to work and 15 kilometers back, it's very unsafe. It's your job. Because those people actually get more experience. The more you do something, the more you get experience. But if you're driving it to go to work only, please avoid it. If you can afford to buy a Bajaj at 5.8, you can afford to buy a Chikumi at 4 million. You can afford to buy a Corsa at 3.5. Okay, you can afford to buy a Chivina at 3.5 or 4. You can afford to buy a Primo at like 6. Okay, if you're going to be thinking about buying a motorcycle at 5.8, a brand new one, thinking you're going to be saving money, I will personally help you. Of course, in charging a cent but I can help you find a good car in that price range. Not a accident. One of the reasons why I've not actually gotten into those very dangerous motorcycle accidents is because I've been driving a car since I was like 20. I bought my car in 2010. I was 20 years then. And since then, Sivanga Muto. At least Mvuge Moro Kange Kongoja. That always makes me laugh. At least Mvuge Moro Kange Kongoja na yenga sirinye sitadebula mbwange matiga. There's a time my car was on the spray. And I rode a bicycle because taxis are also too stressful for me. So I decided that okay, I can just get exercise as I go. Banange, I parked the bicycle. It was very dangerous. It was frightening. So imagine kati omuntu atula ku pitch buli lunaku naava ekigogwa n'agitulako paka mu town every day n'agitulako neemuza. How do they manage on a border? So that's why I'm saying you should not be renting far away. If you work in town, let's say, or in a business yonge irimu town wakati rent in town, itova kujja ku renting asimanya kati I rent in Maganjo. Why are you renting in Maganjo? Because if you're renting in Maganjo and have a business in town, close that business. Buy a business. We better call it a sentence kusobozesa kupangisa kumpi na yo. It's not worth it, and it's a fact. Forget motivational speakers telling you business inakula tejja. Business there Uganda tezikula bwezi tu. Because if you open a business and people realize that it works for you, they'll come and open the same business, and before you know it, business will actually be worse. So if you're going to buy a Bajaj 5.8 million shillings, you can buy a Primo at 6 million. You can buy a Chivina at 3.5. Remember, you're even saving some money to make it better. You can buy a Chikumi at around 4 million. You can buy a Kosa at 4 million. You can buy a Cerezo Marino. Okay. You can buy Twarabe Muruka Jawaita Avensis. But even if you just went with those options in the market, you'll find a car and you'll save your life. Because motorcycles, it seems like it's cheaper because okuvechigogo gena mu town onyo enkuminya no gena mu town no komawo guruzo saving anyo. But if they ask you the money you save obato ziraba okitegeera vuga. If you guys, I love cars, but I have a reason to love cars. First of all, I've not gotten into a lot of trouble. I've not had things stolen from me because zibera mu motoka nga ndokinze ababbi sibalaba sigwanga ko mbabbi bana abakuba butayimbwa. Why? Because I'm always in the car. Ababbi bo butayimbwa abakwata nnyo abantu bana bantambula kuva ku stage ngenda waka. Si kyekyo ababbi bo butayimbwa abakwata nnyo abantu bali ku boda wa boda yenyini nakubba. You get? So there is a lot of risk in not having a car. Okitegeera. But also bobo bera wara from town, it should make sense for you to buy a car that is affordable in maintenance, affordable fuel wise, that is affordable to buy first of all. But also get a car that mechanics can fix from wherever. I bought this car from Obakarungu. Masaka, they are deep. You go and even pass Bukoma and Simbi and you go deep. I bought it from some rich guy there Mcharu. Tuamsangati sema matoke mubutu. He was distributing matoke or kunyumba ze at his homes. And yeah, twamulinda namal distributing matoke ge nitugende Masaka mu town, and I got money and I paid him. Okitegeera. Yeah. Also, there's the other thing that normally people don't work with cash when you're going to buy a car. Don't work with cash. Jangu, first see the car, then go to the bank and pay. Drive that very car to the bank. Ojeyo send. Ochitege, that's normally what I tell my people when they come to be helped to buy cars. Ochitege. But if you're going to be living 15 kilometers, let me repeat it. Don't buy a car that is beyond, that consumes fuel, that has an engine that is bigger than 1.8 cc. But if it should be a car that has more than 1.8 cc or even 1.8 cc, okay, if it's not, don't buy a car that is beyond 1.5 cc. Okay? But if it should be a car that is more than 1.5 cc, it should either be very cheap or it should be a 7-seater. Why? And if you're driving a 7-seater, you will be able to take some passengers. Don't buy an expensive car ngobere no mukyalo wagula plot ya milioni 15 ogiguze wala chokovuge moroka ya milioni 8. People that have that drive those expensive cars feno je tubera ba inayo farm. There's a farm, one of the farms that is near my home belongs to Major Kazora. Ochitegeera. Major Kazora has a farm I know like 5 acres or 10 acres. I'm not sure. Guys, if Pasola Zinywa, because I think they are 1.5 cc or 900 cc. These normal Bajajes are 150 cc, 125 cc. The Pasolas are normally 900 cc, 1000 cc. Obanga avuga VT is avuga Pasola. That's the thing. So I was saying, if you're going to be living far away from town, like 15 kilometers and more, avoid expensive cars. There is no reason why you should be driving an expensive car. Nyumba yere muproti ya milioni 15. Nyumba yere muproti ya milioni 2. Choka ogura Yeah, you go to Echibina. You guys, all enyumba yo eri mu plot ya milioni 2 ovuga emmotoka milioni 6 otegeera kale bere yabiri nga wagigula kira like 10 years ago okitegeera naye ng'oli mu plot ya milioni 2 45 kilometers from town ovuga kawundo kyokka okulira mu kibuga oba otegeera bannange. I love cars naye nyina wesituuka okitegeera waliwo kyoba okola nga tekijja kunyuma nga naawe okimanyi. So it's important that we understand we tuyimiridde so that we make better decisions. Ekikuvuza kuruga ng'obeera eno ewange kiki? Buy small cars. You can buy a Fielder, you can buy a Spacio, you can buy an Alex, you can buy a Wish, you can ezemmotoka zonna price range yazo eri wansiko ate era n'okunywa kwazo zinywa kitono. Now if you're a hustler nga tolina bulungi sente, you can't raise up 10 million, you can still buy cars that are below that price nga ate ziri affordable. Of course right now in Morocco zigenda zirinya because of the restriction that the government put. You can't import cars over 15 years. Kireetera emiwendo gino okulinya because if new cars from the bond are expensive n'abalina enkadde bagenda ziseera. So it's important for us to understand that gitulaga Morocco zigenda kweyongera okukola ki okulinya ebbeeyi. But I think I've made sense guys. Okujjako ng'olina ekibuuzo, I would like to say bye bye. Ngulide batabani bange amata. Hey Gloria, you called me bro. Guys, chiruma omukazi okuyita bro. Gloria called me bro. If you didn't see the comment, eri eyo waggulu. Hey, she's Gloria. Simumanyi bannange, but I'm just saying for a woman to call you bro. Ngaba ku bro zone nze mangu nnyo. Okitegeera. But anyway, guys, if you're going to be living 15 kilometers away, 15 kilometers or more from town, considerant you cannot afford a car that is, nenga kish chibina neweberanga it's not a very good number. Is a moroka tezifa. Chibina tezifa. Chibino sona jivuganga yingi nte muli oyiro. Bwomaiza no yiwa moyiro nekola byeyagala. Guys, 15 kilometers or more from town, tandika okulowooza priorities. Because 15 kilometers or more from town, you're a hustler. So you need to understand, like I've said, Subarus, don't buy a Subaru that is more than 1.5cc. If you drive a Subaru, go take it until you need to, okay? Because there are guys that have their money. But again, I'm just saying, omuntu alina sente tewali kikuzimbisa nyumba more than 15 kilometers away from CBD if you work in Kampala town, in the center of Kampala. Omuntu alina sente ate togenda wala. Omuntu alina sente, you buy land in Chanja, you buy land in Kira, you buy land in Kasangati or Magere. Okitegeera kye mbagamba. Kati ate bw'oba obeera eno ewaffe gye mbeera. Kati toyina ttooke, olinawo otutooke, olinawo otusente. Okitegeera. There's a time we were talking with one of my neighbors, and he was telling me about a very competitive neighbor of his that is constantly trade with bwakola kino ngagamba nze nina okusinga oyo bwakola kino nina okusinga. And I was telling him fe wane waffe we tuli tewali ayina ttooke. Yes, Barros, wane waffe we tuli tewali ayina ttooke, tulina mo tutooke. Tulina okuwa obusente obutonotono naye tetuli babinojjo. Okitegeera. But if you have binojjo tolina kikutwala wala. Before you buy an expensive car, buy a plot of land eri mu kifo ekiri okumpi. Okitegeera. That reminds me of someone that sent me a WhatsApp message nangamba naye nafa abemoroka empya twogereko. Okitegeera. Nangamba njagala ngule a plot of land in Namugongo Sonde, milioni zange nga 5, nteekemu ennyumba ya milioni nga 8. You guys, ennyumba ya milioni 8 ng'ewedde kapa kayumba bannange atazimbangako yatakitegeera ekyo. A house of 80 million when it's complete, kapa kayumba. Yeah, my WhatsApp number is 0752 991 051. 0752 991 051. Guys, I sell tracking devices. If you have a car, you should protect it by putting a tracking device in it. Our tracking devices can tell you real time location of your car. They can also tell you where your car has been. Okay, they can also tell you, you can track it in real time ng'etambula n'omanya kateze wanedda wano yiye egenda eri. You can turn off the engine using your mobile phone. You can turn off the engine remotely. Even if you're in London, your car is in Kampala, you can turn off the engine and it will not start until either they disconnect the tracking device or until you start the engine again using your phone. So those are the tracking devices I sell. Each tracking device will cost you about 350,000, including installation. If you're near Kampala, we will come to you. Naye woba oli walako, then oteekamu ka transport otugulira amafuta ne tujja and we install it. I also do pre-purchase inspection for people. Mbayambako to select a good car so that you don't make a mistake and buy a bad car. Buying a good car takes capabilities. Nothing to guys. I want to show you. I think of what I'm using. Let me show you. But we say temugamba nti saabala nafe tugenda bana ebivulu. You should make money. The reason why those girls are up on those trucks is because their parents didn't have money. It's a fact. There's a story I had of I was with a friend of mine and he told me a story of a daughter of you remember Haji Karisa, the one that used to be on NBS. One of his daughters, he even gave me her Instagram account, and my God, she's always nude. She shows private parts on Instagram. So Kagamba, she sells atundako. And the guy was telling me the story of that chick that she's very educated. She was a manager of a certain company and she lost her job during I think the lockdown. So she asked her family for capital to start her own business, and they could not afford. And because they could not afford, nabagama zeno ngenda kwetunda mu byokusaga niba gwamanyi. The girl started selling seriously on Instagram. I'll share the Instagram. I'm sure she would like to be more popular. For the guys that want, you can inbox me on WhatsApp and I share with you the Instagram account. My God, people that have had baby girls, mukole nyo sente, make money so that you don't ever put your daughter into the temptation of either trying to get a sugar daddy, 1, 2, going on top of those lorries ngabazinirako to make a 5k or 10k because tebalina sente zibabawa 15 oba mutwalo omwana ne yewebuula yenna. Guys, if you have had a baby girl, make a lot of money so that your girl doesn't have to go through that. I hope I've made sense in today's broadcast, guys. I just wanted to this is Moses Arario. Moses, you're new. They own NBS TV. No, NBS TV is you know how you can, I think you know how you can be brothers and one of the brothers gets money and you don't get, you have your money but not a lot. Which take it, I think the owner of the NBS is probably the brother to the late Karisa, the professor that was normally on NBS. So my God, it wasn't okay for us guys that see definitely. For us we were seeing, but for the family it's not a pretty thing. For a family that has people that have a name, Ogamanti, actually she even calls herself the name Panange Karisa. She calls herself that name. You will be surprised. So you imagine you name your daughter your name, and because you don't have money she ends up doing that and everybody knows. And if you have some money and you're popular, and then Arthur, she's doing those things. So anyway guys, I have to go. Thank you very much for being part of this. You come to my inbox safe. I can't share the account here, yeah, but I can share private now. No gena yeah, it's a nice thing okulisa kumaso. So thank you very much guys for being live. It's nice to always have you people here. However, at least people, and it's even better that you guys engage, that you take your time, you take your data. I hope you have learned something today. Yeah, just a view. Yes, just a view. Yeah, so Juko Akram Junju, thank you very much. October, Maima Tugamet, Abdul Nasa, Maima Tugamet also. Chelimo Bashir, Abdu, Yanasa, Abdul Nasa, Emerson Barak. Please, Emerson, Pajero mini jive kotojigura. But if you really want it, you can buy it. Omanchi bachiru nyina ogula ekintu ku mutima kyoyagala. Naye ng'oyinza okubona abona nayo muganda wange. Yeah. Nabasa Gloria, thank you very much. I've not seen you being commenting live, but thank you very much for being here today. Chris Da Vinci, thank you. Kish Ferro, thank you. Patrick, thank you very much. Seth, thank you very much for being here. Barros, thank you for being here. Abby, thank you very much for coming. On flat roofing. Flat roofing is good. My house is a flat roof. But you need to get a roofer that knows what he's doing. Hey, you've been following. Right. That also makes sense. So if you're going to be getting a flat roof, box. Get a person that knows how to roof. Si buli muntu ndi amanyi okuzimba box. Eyange yatonnyako. Era nga box ezisinga bwe zitonnya. Okitegeera until I got someone that could actually work on it n'agikola n'etereera. Okitegeera, but ekutama bwebanga ofunye omuntu atamanyi kusereka. And our builders in Uganda are very dishonest. Okitegeera, even when they don't know how to do it, they will not tell you abeerako n'atetenganyiza ku nyumba yo olw'okuba ayagala okukola sente. Okitegeera, but flat house, it's a very nice house. Get a designer that is good, an architect that is good, and tell you know before you build a flat house, you need to want it. Nze nali njagala flat house, the flat roof. I saw it. My first house in Kasanga, it wasn't flat roof, but then my neighbor nazimba flat roof and it looked really nice. And I said, I wish I knew. So when I came this way, I decided to build that. And it's nice. It's not yet done, but when it's done, it's going to be very nice. Got flat roof, the only challenge, and you know flat roof service, you can use the white iron sheets, those silver iron sheets. Tewetaga kwesa kategula, tewetaga kwesa mabati ga kala, osobola kwesa mabati agalichi. Osobola kwesa mabati agali normal, the white ones, the silver ones, getuyitaga white. So flat roof, I have a man, Abereno Matuga. I think I'll do an interview on him for you guys that want to do flat roof. Yeyantereza enyumba yoneterera. Okitegeera. You need to get a roofer that is good. I think that's my only thing, but it's a very nice, it saves money. If Mwamba is going to cost you 18 million, flat roof will cost you 6. Yeah, but thank you very much guys for being here. It really means a lot that you take your time. I'll see you tomorrow morning 7:20 or 7:10. So just know I'll be here between 7 and 8. Yeah, if you have the time, if you're not at work already, and probably if you're in transit, you can log in. Thank you very much for being here. Ciao.